assimilation into the white school system is what it was. Our names, excuse me, of our schools were lost. Our mascots and so forth were the lions. That was lost. We had to take on the mascots and the names of the predominant white school system. And of course this continued. And there are a couple of things that I remember in right after this transitional period that took place. And they just stick out in my mind so very often. And a lot of things that happen now remind me of this. It was approximately that next year, it was that very next year, on the upon integration in 1971. I was in the 7th grade at the time. One of our teachers was a black man. He was our science teacher. He was one of the science teachers for that, for the 7th grade. And he decided to take us on a field trip. And the field trip was to Mississippi State University, which was about less than an hour away from us. So we went on the field trip. It was such a, if you will, it was an idyllic integration moment, if you will, in that the students, the white students and the black students, you know, we were integrated, and we were going to the university to review their science lab. We rode on the same bus together. We were very, you know, very happy-go-lucky, and just very happy to be, you know, taking a field trip somewhere with our newly found white friends. We went to the school, and everything went well. We had lunch in at one of the school's cafeterias, and we were able to sit together. We sat together with them. So this was just a beautiful moment. And of course, now the rest of the story. On the way back to our hometown, we stopped for, I don't know if the bus needed gas, or we stopped to perhaps for everybody to go to the bathroom. And upon stopping, we were somewhere between, like I said, Mississippi State University and our hometown. And the people, the convenience store that we stopped at, they were very welcoming to us there. Of course, we got off the bus, and like the convenience stores at that time they had the outside bathrooms. And of course, after having such a wonderful day of traveling to the university and having lunch with our newly found white friends, we encountered at the convenience store the sign above the bathroom door. Of course, it said "white only," and I see it just as clear as day now. Above that door seal was "white only," and of course, one of the proprietors of the store had told us, don't pay no attention to that, as though they were just playing, just intending to, for whatever reason, they just hadn't gotten around to painting over it or whatever they had done. But it still left an indelible impression upon me that this thing called integration was not integration at all. It was us moving into what they had, and we still weren't there because there was still the white only. But that's just an example. It just brings back so many memories, those types of things. And you see that. And I consider myself a relatively young person, now being only 53 years old right now. And so that was not, that was in 1971 when I was in the 7th grade. I also remember a couple of years later, it was 1974, I believe it was. Just so happens, I was in the 10th grade at that time. I was in the 10th grade around that time. And I had been elected, even though I was only in the 10th grade, I had been elected as, I was one of the, if you will, co-student body president, because we had a black one and a white one. I was the black student body president at that time. And of course, during the fall of the year, we had the election for the homecoming queen. Keep in mind what I said earlier. This time was, again, approximately 80-20 split as far as race, with 80% being white. In this election that was held the week before homecoming, the ballots were cast. There was, of course, if I'm remembering correctly, approximately there was 4 or 5 white young ladies that were running, and there was 1 black young lady that was running. And of course, you probably are figuring now the rest of this story. In that, what happened was on the day of the election, that afternoon, about 15 minutes before the excuse me, the school ending bell rang, the principal had called on the intercom for me to come to the office. I came to the office, and he explained in a nervous sort of way that what has happened is that the votes have been tallied, and the young black lady had won as homecoming queen by 2 votes. And there was no policy in place for a runoff, as some had suggested that were running that were tallying the votes for the election, but there was none in place. But so the principal on this issue, being a very fair person, said that there would not be a runoff because we have no policy for a runoff. So he was letting me know that that there perhaps would maybe some problem that people would have. They may try different things, but he's standing behind. She has won the homecoming election. So it was announced. That was a Friday. So only a few people knew. And on that Monday, it was announced who was the homecoming queen. Of course, there was a lot of talk and so forth when the election results were announced. But everything went on as planned. We had our local, which was a big thing in small town America. We had our homecoming parade on that Friday. So she rode in the new convertible, sitting on the seat and waving as the homecoming queen. So that night at the homecoming football game, she was escorted onto the field as the homecoming queen. The first time in my little hometown that a black person had won as the homecoming queen. That was just an amazing event. And it would be amazing if there was more to this. And I'm going to say, benefit of the doubt, coincidentally, the homecoming game where the black homecoming queen was crowned, was on a Friday night. That Sunday night, 2 days later, the high school, the 3-story brick high school, nice, beautiful brick high school, burned to the ground. They said it was because of faulty wiring. And of course, coincidentally, she was elected on Friday. School burned down on that Sunday. So I graduated not from a high school, I graduated from a lot full of trailers because our high school burned down 2 days after a black homecoming queen was elected. I think I'll stop right there. It just gives you an idea of how this, my hometown was. And if there's anything as far as a wrap-up is concerned, I was there probably a couple of weeks ago. And from talking to the people in the old hometown, not much has changed since then. Thank you very much.